Building software with AI is growing at an exponential pace. It's awesome to see the results that it comes up with and how quickly you can get to an end result, a production-ready application. But this also means code is generated faster than we can possibly keep up with as humans to review it and make sure everything is the way it's supposed to be. It also means we are introducing more opportunities for vulnerabilities that attackers can find and exploit. So, how do we take advantage of these awesome tools while also keeping things safe and secure? Well, I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that in this video. Let's get started. Now, before we jump too deep into learning how to use these tools securely and in an automated way, we need to know what mistakes they can make. By knowing these 3 critical security issues, we'll be able to look out for them and catch them before they cause any further harm. So the first possible critical mistake that AI code generation tools can make is something you probably already are aware of: hallucination. But specific to AI code generation tools, it can hallucinate open source dependencies that it's going to leverage in your application. So while you've given a test to your AI code generation tool, it's going to recognize a need to leverage some type of open source package. Now, really quick, if you're not familiar with what that is or what that means, it's basically recognizing that there needs to be some code that fulfills this certain purpose and knowing that there is existing pieces of code that has been shared by the community so that we don't have to keep writing the same code over and over again. And that's what these open source packages essentially do. So the AI recognizes that, it goes and finds packages that it thinks can fill those needs, those tasks it's trying to accomplish. And in doing so, it can do 2 things when it comes to hallucinations. It can hallucinate the package altogether as basically one that doesn't exist at all and assume that it does. It believes that it does exist and sets it up as a dependency in your project. The other way it can hallucinate is by getting the package correct, but the version it chooses to use is not really there. It's never really been published, or it's been taken off of the registry and it doesn't know that it's no longer available. There is no 0.39. It goes up to 0.31.2, but it seems to either hallucinate that version, or maybe that version got pulled off of NPM's registry for some reason. And in both of these hallucination situations, it can lead to what is sometimes referred to as slopsquatting. Essentially, attackers recognize and see this pattern with AI coding models, that they are looking for a specific package with this name that doesn't exist. And those attackers will go and create those packages, inject their malicious code into them, and then leverage that to their advantage in various ways by gaining further unrestricted access to your applications you've built. Now, that's the first critical issue to be on the lookout for and a mistake that AI can make. The second one is also around the dependencies it chooses, but in this case, it chooses valid dependencies. However, it chooses dependencies that have known vulnerabilities in them, which can leave you susceptible to being exploited as a result. And last but not least, the third security issue to be considering with these tools is the code that it generates. That code could potentially be introducing vulnerabilities that are leaving you at a high risk of being attacked as well. So those are the 3 critical security issues you should have top of mind while you're using these AI code generation tools. But you might be thinking and feeling like that's a daunting task. That's a lot to keep on top of while I am trying to focus on delivering this application and getting it out there for people to start using and taking advantage of. Well, the good thing is there is a solution available to you that you can start using today that's going to help your AI code generation tools make better decisions in these areas. And the answer to that is Snyk Studio. Let me show you how it works. To get started, we're going to head on over to snyk.io. That's SNYK.io. You're going to click on or hover over the platform option in the top left corner here. And then you're going to choose Snyk Studio. And you can see here, this is where you're able to innovate with AI securely. We can get started in just a few clicks. So we're going to click on that. And then depending on what IDE, code writing tool you prefer to use, whether that's Claude Code, Windsurf, Cursor, so be it. There's an option for you. You click on the Start Now for that one, and you'll be off and running. We'll follow the instructions for there. For me, I'm going to be using Visual Studio Code, so I'm going to click on Snyk for Copilot with GitHub Copilot. And we can see we have one-click VS Code install. I'm going to click on that. It prompts me to open up Visual Studio Code. And here we are. We have the Snyk security extension for VS Code. I'm going to click on install. Then once that's installed, you'll see, at least for Visual Studio Code, it might be slightly different for other IDEs you might be using. You'll notice a Snyk icon in your activity bar, wherever that may be on your screen. For me, it's in the top right-hand corner. And if you hover over it, you can see it's Snyk. I click on that, and then it's going to ask me to connect and trust the workspace. So what that means is we need to connect our Snyk account, which you can get one for free, which we can do as part of this process. So I'm going to click connect and trust workspace. And what that did is it opened up my browser to the Snyk website. And it's saying that I need to authenticate with my Snyk account. So I'm going to click on authenticate. Now for me, I've already signed up for a Snyk account. If you haven't, you'll be prompted with the options to sign up for an account with GitHub, Google, and a few other options. Choose whichever one works best for you. And then you'll get to this point where it'll say you're authenticated, and you can close the window and go back to using Snyk inside of your IDE. So now you can see this Snyk extension view has changed significantly. I'm in a mono repo where we use the same prompt with different AI coding models over the past year and a half or so plus, and save the output into this repository. And we can see all of the results from Snyk scanning these projects all in one place here like this. And we have a lot, 190 to be exact, when it comes to the open source security, the dependencies that the AI coding tools chose for us. In addition to that, below the open source security collapsible region, we can minimize that and expand the code security. And this shows us the security issues that were created in the code that each AI model wrote for us with that prompt. Now, this is good and all, but this is reactive. This is already having code and projects built out by an AI tool, and we're checking the security of the results of that. But what we want to do is we want the AI to leverage the Snyk capabilities to prevent it from introducing these vulnerabilities that we are seeing here. So how do we go about doing that? The way we do that is by enabling what Snyk calls Secure at Inception. Now for me, we didn't end up seeing this result because I've leveraged Snyk in my IDEs before, but if it's your first time, you'll likely see a pop-up come up like the one that we see on screen in our documentation here. It's a mobile window that will prompt you to opt in to Snyk Studio's Secure at Inception. And then what it does, if you choose yes, which you should, it will automatically configure necessary rules to scan any new AI generated code for you. So if you're like me and you didn't get that modal prompt set up, I'm going to show you how you can enable Secure at Inception via the Snyk extension. You're going to bring up your IDE's settings. In this case, in Visual Studio Code, it's Control, comma, or Command, comma. And you're going to search Snyk MCP. And in there, we'll see that we have Configure Snyk MCP Server Security at Inception. Check that box and you're good to go. Now, another setting I want you to double check so that it can improve your overall experience with this is the execution frequency of Secure at Inception. So the way we're going to look for that is we're going to search for Snyk Inception, and we'll see this second option underneath here where it says choose when Snyk should scan and initiate fixes for your AI generated code. Right now, mine is set to manual, but if we switch it to on code generation, that will enable it to scan more frequently and stay more on top of the AI code generation to ensure it is doing things securely. With those settings configured the way they are now, we'll be able to start leveraging Snyk Studio while using AI code generation tools. In this case, I'll be using GitHub Copilot. All right, so next step is for us to enable the Snyk MCP server from Snyk Studio. We're going to click on the configure tools inside of Visual Studio Code. This may be a little bit different if you're in other IDEs and depending on how those enable you to enable MCP servers within them. So clicking on the configure tools icon in GitHub Copilot chat view, I can come over here and I can see there's Snyk now available. I can expand on that to see all the available tools from it. I'm going to check to enable all of those tools and close that and click OK. All right, to get a true test and sense of how this Secure at Inception works, we're going to take the results from a recent model, MiniMax M2.1, that we know Snyk reported vulnerabilities in the open source dependencies it chose and the code it wrote. And we're going to see that if we give it the same prompt that we did that time, if it gives us clean results. So as a quick reference, and if you'd like, you can go back and see this video yourself. It is testing MiniMax M2.1 for AI coding. The results might surprise you. We can see there was a medium severity vulnerability in the open source dependencies introduced via bcrypt. And then there were 8 code security vulnerabilities, 1 high and a handful of medium level severity vulnerabilities. So let's see if we can get a result that has absolutely no security issues thanks to Snyk Studio and Secure at Inception. So I'm going to take the same prompt that we use for every model. I'm going to run it in a separate directory next to the MiniMax M2 results so we can see that and store it in the GitHub repository for you to check out yourself if you'd like. All right, so I created a separate directory for MiniMax M2.1, which is under a Secure at Inception parent directory. And we can see that Snyk Studio added some custom instructions, Snyk rules instructions under the GitHub instructions, and some settings as well for us. Really quick, the reason why that is important is the rules will enable GitHub Copilot to leverage those instructions when passing the prompts to the models that we're using. With that in mind, I have MiniMax M2.1 selected here, and I'm going to pass the prompt into it that we give it for every model, but now with Secure at Inception set up. All right, it's off and running. Let's see how well it does. Now, one thing to note that's varying already from past attempt with this MiniMax model or any other models is it says it used this reference to the Snyk rules instructions. So it knows about the capabilities of Snyk, and it's going to leverage that when it feels necessary. So a quick update on this. It's still working on things, making progress, but again, some of the differences from what we've seen in the past in terms of the model reporting what it's doing. In here, we can see it saying, I need to check the current workspace state and then run Snyk security scan as required by the security instructions. So it's awesome to see that. These are the things that are going to help address the issues head on instead of afterwards, after the fact. So I'll cut back in once we've made some more progress and I can show you some more results. Another update we have here, the model is now prompting me to allow it to run that particular tool from Snyk. In this case, it is Snyk Code Scan, which is the static application security testing tool directly from the Snyk MCP. So I'm going to let it allow and review the results of that and see how it proceeds from there. Yet another update. Sorry for all these interruptions, but I think it's worth calling out because something we've commonly seen in the past from other models is for Node.js applications, it tends to lean on CSRF NPM package as a dependency to be used for cross-site request forgery mitigation. However, that one has a vulnerability in it in the latest version that's available, and it's also been deprecated. In this case, MiniMax M2.1, thanks to the help of Snyk, realized that there's one security issue related to CSRF because of the deprecated use of the CSRF package from dependencies. So it's removing that. It's going to switch to an alternative solution. Something else to note is depending on your account configuration, when Snyk goes to use a tool from the MCP server, it might prompt you to trust the folder path that you're working within before proceeding further, in which you'll see something like this, which I already clicked OK to go ahead, and it gives you a success. And now you can close this page and it allows the model to continue on with its work. So just a quick note on that as well. All right, and it's done. It even wrote some tests, which is different from the last time we used the model. And in which case we can see that it ran those tests to make sure those passed before it felt like it was completely done. And if we head on over to the Snyk extension to run our scans manually, we will see that now the open source security issues are all gone, so no issues there. Remember, previously when we tried this model out without Snyk Studio, we had one open source dependency. And then when it comes to code security, we do have one here, but we'll get to that in just a moment. The big takeaway out of this is that we went from 8 issues down to 1. All right, now, so that one thing I mentioned to note about with this particular cross-site request forgery error, this is admittedly a false positive in this situation, which is something that I have reported to the team internally and they're actively working on it. But in addition to that, if you come across something like this as well, the nice plus about this is the model will leverage Snyk Studio to report that feedback to the internal Snyk team in addition to that. So as we can see here on the left-hand side, it noticed that Snyk found a false positive for the cross-site request forgery because what's happening is the model wrote its own cross-site request forgery mitigation implementation, and Snyk is expecting the use of something like the CSRF module still, which has been deprecated. So the model recognized this, wrote up a report to send feedback in there, and used that tool within the MCP server to send that over to the Snyk team, which is pretty awesome. So overall, it is fantastic to see that we greatly reduced the security issues, in fact, to basically nothing with the use of Snyk Studio and Secure at Inception. So there you have it, folks. If you're using AI code generation tools, you must be using Snyk Studio to help you out and make sure that the code and the dependencies that your AI tools are using are safe and secure for your applications. So if you're ready to get started using Snyk Studio, links will be in the description below. Go ahead and check those out. On that note, that does it for this video. If you got value out of it, be sure to like it down below and share it with somebody who can put it to use. And if you made it this far, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on upcoming videos. Thanks for watching and happy, safe coding, everyone.